Yeah, I'm Hastie, the learning technologist, part of the e-learning team at Barony campuses, which is part of the SRUC. I cater for their VLE, Moodle and e-portfolio system Mahara, as well as other learning technologies within the campus.
I'm Alison Halliday. I'm part of the learner experience team at SRUC. My role in that is student support services. It's very much looking after the pastoral needs of the students and making sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to experience life at Barony in the best way that they can.
The name of the project is the Barony Campus Student Newsletter. There was a meeting, it was actually staff development, wasn't it, in this actual room. A guy from HMI was here to how to improve the student experience within Barony campus. And I was actually reading a book on Mahara, and in the book there was a chapter about an online gazette, and when the guy presented how we got to improve communication, collaboration within the campus, and the gazette actually came into my mind as in creating an online newsletter within Mahara with the students, leading the actual project itself.
It was a bit like a light bulb meeting moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You just kind of think, I've got an idea about that.
As the student newsletter came into my mind with it, using Mahara, a lot of the light bulbs came: communication, collaboration, citizenship, public writing, images, videos. There's a few light bulbs that came on, and there's still more light bulbs to go on as we progressed into the project. Well, basically, after the HMI staff development, I mentioned to Alison, how about creating an online student newsletter within Mahara? And Alison, we need to meet about this. So I had a few ideas to put on the table with Alison, and she basically said, design something, build it up and come back and we can meet again and see how we can progress with the students when they come back, they start their academic year. Alison and myself had a few meetings.
We did. I don't do the technical side at all. It's very much Ali's work, and I just try and work out how an idiot with very few computer skills can cope with it, which is where I come in very easily.
So what we did was we created a new group within Mahara, specifically for the Mahara student newsletter. I created a couple of test students as myself, basically going in there and building up articles, and created an exemplar newsletter page. So I went back to Alison, what do you think of this? Do you think this could work with the students? And basically, took it from there. Yeah,
so we gathered together. We used the class reps as our initial group because they were easily identified, and so we pinned them down, and we got some of those to come along to a training. And bribed them with Mars bars, as I remember, didn't we?
That's right, we did free lunch and a Mars bar. I think that helped the project.
And they came in very sceptical, I'd have to say. They're here to do land-based skills, and to suddenly ask them to work on computers and become this public writers, that it wasn't just their course tutors that were reading their work.
The world.
Yeah, it was the world, and it wasn't easy for them, was it?
I didn't tell them straight away that this is public writing, etc. Only within the campus, but once we met for the first time after the training, I basically, owned up. Look, guys, this is going to be peer reviewed by Alison and be available over the internet. And they were like, "Oh my God, okay, it's fine. We'll work together on this."
And they grew, didn't they? They grew and flourished. Yeah.
More ideas came onto the table as time went on, using work experiences as their articles, the interviews between themselves, and interviewing our step-in principal, Donald Leach, and eventually interviewing Bob Webb, who was our principal for the SRUC. One of the areas that I implemented within the group, within Mahara, was the forums. So I created a topic within the forums for the group, and they did communicate their ideas, the progress of their articles. That was one good area of gauging the progress, etc. Another technology we used as well was Connect Text, is where the staff can text the students through a browser to their mobile devices, and the students can text back. So I used that system to communicate with the students about progress, about newsletter meetings and so on. And they actually replied back to me, yeah, the article's going fine, and we do need to meet about other ideas for the newsletter.
I think the only part of peer reviewing that I do is basically to make sure that everything's appropriate and that the spelling's all right. I very carefully don't look at grammar and things, because it has to be seen to be the students' work, and they have to be able to recognise that it's their work. I think we had a young gentleman that wanted to do the handy facts, and I think there was one that
there was one fact that we had to remove.
And it's the only thing that we physically redlined, isn't it? Was this one fact, but apart from that, it has just been minor sort of spellings and things like that.
I mean, we emphasised that to a couple of the meetings with the students, that we won't change any of your text apart from your spelling. It still will be your voice as such. And they were quite happy with it.
I think it's that ownership that makes it successful, though, isn't it? Will I go? I think staff are inclined to, this is a general statement here, but staff are inclined to work in bubbles. And they didn't always know what other teams were doing. And this way, ever so informally, it seems to work better that people learn informally rather than formally. So they're seeing that other groups are doing things in a certain way. So it's actually working to share good practice and share knowledge amongst the staff, which was never an intention.
No.
Of the thing. You know, I think the staff have got to know the student body better as well.
Yeah.
Would you?
Oh, definitely.
But the staff benefit was a sort of add-on.
Yeah.
It was very much aimed as a student project, or a project for the good of the students, but somehow the way the staff have really bought into it as well. And
I mean, we've had a lot of feedback from the staff on our actual newsletter pages, very positive feedback. I mean, as I mentioned previously, we've had Mahara for over 5 years now, and it's been quite sticky as in usage. The merge kicked off, obviously the staff are busy, and then obviously we released the student newsletter, and they go, okay, what can we do with this? So I've had teaching staff coming to me wanted to build up online assessments within Mahara itself. So it's opened a few doors in many ways, including one of our departmental heads, Karen, who's using Mahara as a newsletter for her department. So it's opening many doors in many ways.
We have to reintroduce it each year to students.
Yeah,
the nature of Barony is a lot of students are only here for 1 or 2 years. It's not like a university that they have 4-year courses. We have to get the buy-in of students every year, which it's like you're only as successful as your last edition, basically, aren't you?
Yeah, it's true. But what I find is with students, they change every year. So last year's students were, no disrespect to this year's students, but they were really, really good, very enthusiastic about this new concept of creating an online newsletter. This year's students are a bit sticky as such. So I think we need to review that and review other technologies we can implement within the newsletter items as well. Things like Twitter, maybe.
Yeah. But they're all very keen to use their phones. Exactly what I was going to say. Because they're very keen to provide us with the footage, whether it's on video or still photos, if we would do the words for them.
Yeah.
You know, because they're very keen. Oh, I've taken the photos and I've filmed it, and they'll come and offer that.
Yeah. I'd like to see more of the curriculum in there. I know we've got the work experience, for example, but I'd like to see more of the curriculum as in the experiences of.
And I think that was actually one of our original hopes, wasn't it? So that every area knew what other areas were doing. Because I always say our animal care students, to the casual observer, they look as if they do nothing but walk dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was to let
it was a more in-depth
our agrics know what our animal cares do, and it did work.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely.